Hey guys, it's Mr. Fresh. Today is Friday, May 22nd. So we only have 2 more e-learning days after this one. So that's pretty cool. Memorial Day is on Monday. So my plan for today, if you've been looking at the assignments, is that I am going to actually finish the Cam Jansen book. And I'm going, when I teach the lesson later today, I'm going to actually talk about the last few parts to writing a mystery. And then I'll talk about where to find the assignment, things like that. So because of that, these 2 videos are probably going to be a little bit longer because I have 4 more chapters to read of Cam Jansen. So please stick around, listen. It has a pretty cool ending. And then the video, when I'm teaching later, probably won't be too bad, but I'll finish up covering some things and we'll talk about that. That way, next week, our main focus will just be to finish assignments. There's a few of you guys that have a lot of writing left to do to get that writing grade bumped up, and so if you could do that for me, that would be great, and I'll talk to you about who those people are later. All right, so Cam Jansen and the Mystery Writer Mystery. So far in the story, Cam Jansen, she's at a book fair. A friend of hers, their car gets stolen. The writer who's there, he used to be a detective. He kind of tries to help them, but then gives up pretty quickly when they can't find it outside and it's rainy. And so now we're going to kind of see what Cam Jansen's going to do to help solve this mystery. All right, Chapter 5. Danny's father took out a cell phone. He pressed some of the buttons, waited, and then said, "My car has been stolen." Mr. Pace described his car and gave the address of the school. He listened. "Thank you," he said. "I'll wait for you in the front lobby." So he has decided to call the police. He returned the cell phone to his pocket. Danny and his parents left room 17. Cam was about to follow them. "Hang up your coat and hat," Mrs. Jansen told Cam. "I don't want you wearing your wet things." Cam hung up her coat and hat. Then she followed Danny and his parents to the lobby. "My car was stolen from the school parking lot," Danny's father told Dr. Prell. "The police are coming." "That's terrible," Dr. Prell said. "I'll wait here with you. I'll do whatever I can to help." "I'll help too," Cam said. "Please," the principal told Cam, "go back to the gym. The police will handle this." "I agree with Dr. Prell," Mrs. Jansen told Cam. "When it's all over, Danny will tell us what happened." Mrs. Jansen walked with Cam into the gym. Beth and her dad went too. Cam and Beth took their books from the table near the entrance to the gym. "Let's get back in line and have our books signed," Beth said. "You go ahead," Cam said. "I'll wait here. I want to see what happens." "Stay right here," Mrs. Jansen told her. "I don't want you bothering Dr. Prell." Beth got in line to have her books signed. Her father went back to the biography table. Cam's mother returned to the history book table. Cam stood by the entrance to the gym. She looked through the open doors and waited. Danny and his parents stood in the lobby with Dr. Prell. Cam could see that they were talking, but she couldn't hear what they were saying. 2 police officers walked into the school. Cam watched them talk to Dr. Prell and Danny's parents. "Hey," Cam thought, "I know one of those officers. He's been at the school before. That's Officer Oppen." Cam waved to him. She hoped he would see her and ask her to come into the lobby. If a police officer tells me to leave the gym, Cam thought, I'll have to go. Officer Oppen had his police pad out. He was writing whatever Danny's father said. Danny's father reached into his pocket. He took out his wallet and showed something to Officer Oppen. That must be information on his car, Cam thought. Cam waved some more. She called out, "Hello!" Officer Oppen saw Cam. He smiled, but he didn't tell her to join him. Danny's father talked some more. Then it seemed he was done. Officer Oppen closed his pad. Just then, Eric, his sister Diane, and his father came into the school. They hurried over to the police officers. Mr. Shelton said something, and Officer Oppen took out his pad again. He started to write. Cam waved to Eric. He didn't see her. Cam called out his name. Eric looked towards the gym. He saw Cam. He waved to her. Then he held up his hand. He would be right there. Cam waited and watched. Officer Oppen wrote a lot in his pad. Then Mr. Shelton took out his wallet and showed something to Officer Oppen. Cam waved again to Eric. She signaled him to come over. Eric hurried to the gym entrance. "You won't believe what happened," he told Cam. "After all of you went inside, Dad said, 'Hey, where's my car?' He looked and looked, but it's gone. My dad's car was stolen too." Uh-oh, so now we have 2 cars that have been stolen. Chapter 6. 2 cars were stolen from the school lot, Cam said. "I have to tell Mom." "Wait," Eric said. "First, listen to what the police officer told us. He said he would call in the license number and description of our car. The police will look for it, but he said they might not find Dad's car." "Wow." "Dad's dry cleaning, a few shirts and his good suit is in the trunk. Donna's and Diane's ice skates are also in the trunk." "Wait here," Cam said. "I'll tell Mom what happened. She said I have to stay in the gym, but I can't stay here with so much happening outside." "I'll go with you," Eric said. "I'll tell her we need you to find Dad's car." Cam and Eric went to the history book table. "Look at this," Mrs. Jansen said to them. "This book is all about Benjamin Franklin." "Did you know he made the first bifocal eyeglasses?" "Mom," Cam said, "Mr. Shelton's car was stolen. I want to help look for it." "Oh my," Mrs. Jansen said to Eric, "your father should call the police." "He already spoke with the police. They said they'll do what they can." Mrs. Jansen told Eric, "We can give you a ride home." "Please," Cam said, "maybe I can help find the car. Let me go with Eric." Mrs. Jansen returned the book about Benjamin Franklin to the table. "I'll go with you," she told Cam. "I'll make sure you don't do anything dangerous. And if you go outside, I want to be sure you put on your raincoat and hat." Cam returned her 3 My Name is Blake mysteries to the table by the entrance to the gym. Jimmy Winter walked past them. "I'm finished," he told Dr. Prowl. "There's no one left in line." The principal introduced the writer to Officers Gray and Oppen. "I read your books when I was a child," Officer Gray said. "I read them to my children now," Officer Oppen told Mr. Winter. Officer Gray was a tall woman with curly black hair. Officer Oppen was not so tall and had a short beard. Cam, Eric, and Mrs. Jansen joined them. "Hello," Officer Oppen said to Cam. Then he laughed, blinked his eyes, and said, "Click." "I know this girl," he told his partner. "She's smart. She has a great memory." "That's very nice," the taller officer said, "but we must get going." Officer Gray reached into her pocket and took out a set of car keys. "Are you left-handed?" Cam asked. "Yes, I am, but how did you know?" "You keep your keys in your left pocket," Cam explained. "That's very interesting," Officer Gray said, "but we really must go." Cam closed her eyes. She said, "Click," and then with her eyes still closed, she said, "And Mr. Pace, are you right-handed?" "Yes, I am," Danny's father said. "I know that," Cam said, with her eyes still closed, "because when Jimmy Winter asked for your keys, you first reached into your right pocket." "But the keys weren't there," Mr. Pace said. No, Cam said. They were in your left pocket. Right pocket, left pocket, Officer Gray said, kind of annoyed. Let's go. We have reports to file. Cam opened her eyes. You're right-handed, Cam told Danny's father, so you would have put your keys in your right pocket. But I think someone took your keys out of your pocket and then put them back. The thief? Mr. Pace asked. Yes, Cam said. I think he took off your car key. Then he put the keys back. He used the key to steal your car. Mr. Pace took his keys out of his right pocket. There were several keys on his key ring. He checked them all. You're right, he said. My car key is missing. Mr. Shelton took out his key ring and looked at it. Hey, he said, my car key is also missing. What does all this mean? Jimmy Winter said. It means, Cam said, that the thief came into the school. He went into room 17, stole the keys, and then stole the cars. Dun, dun, dun. So what are some things that you're thinking so far? Any thoughts on, do you think you know maybe who might have done it yet? The clues, I mean, we just found out that the thief probably is from someone that has been in the school because they came in and got those car keys. All right, we'll see. Chapter 7. Officer Oppen took out his pad. Jimmy Winter took out a pad too. I've got to write all this down, Officer Oppen said. I'll tell you what happened, Cam said. I remembered that Danny's father first reached into one raincoat pocket and then the other to get his keys. That told me two things. First, he kept his keys in his raincoat, which he left in room 17. Anyone who went into the coat room could take his keys. I know what's second, Eric said. Someone must have moved his keys from one pocket to the other. Since his car was stolen, it must have been the thief. Jimmy Winter wrote all this in his pad. This is clever. Very clever, he said as he wrote. I can use this in one of my books. But how did he know which coats to search? Officer Gray asked. He was somewhere in the parking lot, Cam said. He watched people as they got out of their cars. If he saw someone put his keys in his coat pocket, he remembered the coat and stole the keys. He didn't even have to remember the coat, Officer Oppen said. He just went to room 17 and checked which raincoat was still dripping wet. That meant it was just hung up. Officer Oppen closed his pad. I told you this girl was smart, he said to Officer Gray. Okay, she's smart, Officer Gray said. We know how the thief stole the cars, but we still don't know where to find him. You also don't know where to find my car, Mr. Pace said. Or mine, Mr. Shelton added. We do know something else, Jimmy Winter said. He came back after he stole the first car, so he must have left it nearby. Maybe it's hidden somewhere. Yes, Officer Gray said. Let's drive around. If he's anywhere near this school, we'll find him. The two police officers started to walk toward the front door of the school. Cam closed her eyes. She said, click. Wait, Eric called out. Cam is looking at another picture. She may have another clue. The two police officers stopped. They turned and waited. I think I saw him, Cam said with her eyes still closed. I think I saw the thief. Where did you go? Cam's mother asked her. I told you to stay in the gym. Mom, we both saw him. When you drove into the school parking lot, you had to stop. A man was walking across the road. Yes, of course, Mrs. Jansen said. Who else but a thief would be walking in such horrible weather? Officer Oppen had his pad out again. Can you describe him? He asked. The car windows were fogged, Cam said, but I did see that he was short and fat. I saw his raincoat, too. It was light brown. He had on a large brown hat. Oh, I also saw him, Dr. Prowse said. The brim of his hat was bent over his eyes, so I didn't see his face, but I saw him. He came in and said his daughter was already inside. I told him where to hang his coat and where the books were. Dr. Prowse shook her head. I even welcomed him to the book fair. Well, we'll catch him, Officer Gray said. We'll catch him and welcome him to jail. Officer Gray and Oppen left the school. That was great, Jimmy Winter said. I might put a girl like you in one of my next mysteries. She'll have red hair and freckles just like yours. I'll name her Camilla. Cam is not short for Camilla, Eric said. It's short for the camera. We call her that because she has a mental camera. Her real name is Jennifer. Oh, yes, Jimmy Winter said, and wrote in his pad. Cam stood by the front door to the school. She watched the police drive off in their car. Good, Cam said. Now that the police car is gone, maybe we can catch the thief. With her hands, Cam wiped the fog off the school's large front window. Look at your hands, Cam's mother told her. They're all wet. Cam wiped her hands on her shirt. Look at your shirt, Mrs. Jansen said. Now that's wet. I'm sorry, Cam said, but I want to see out the window. Before, the police car was here. That would scare the thief away, but now it's gone. The thief already came here twice to steal. Maybe he'll try again. If he does, we'll see him, and we'll catch him. All right, Chapter 8. So, Eric asked Cam, what do we do? How do we catch the thief? We wait here and watch for him, Cam said. Much of detective work is waiting and watching, Jimmy Winter told Eric. He looked around. But when I was a detective, I usually did my watching sitting down. There was a bench near the entrance. Mr. Winter pulled the bench to the window and sat on it. You know, Jimmy Winter said, the thief may not come back. He may have room in his garage for only 2 cars. Or he may have come back and seen the police car. That would have scared him away. I'm waiting, Danny said, and the crook won't show up. That's not right. Lots of times, Mr. Winter told him, when I was a detective, I waited and watched and nothing happened. Danny whispered to Cam, I could tell jokes. Then waiting here would be fun. Cam shook her head and whispered, No, waiting for a thief is too serious for jokes. I have a question, Eric said. Why did the thief take the car key off the ring? He could have just taken all the keys. Jimmy Winter smiled. I have 2 answers to your question. It could be that he thought if he left the key ring, it would take longer for your dad and that other dad to know something was wrong. They would find their keys. They would not know their cars were stolen until later, when they went outside. Cam wiped the fog off the windows again. Mrs. Jansen quickly gave Cam tissues. She didn't want Cam to wipe her hands on her shirt. What's the other reason? Eric asked. Oh, the other reason, Jimmy Winter said and laughed. Crooks often do strange things. That's because they're usually not the smartest people. If they were smart, they wouldn't be stealing. In the end, they always get caught. Cam, there you are, someone called. Cam turned. It was Beth. I was looking everywhere for you, she said. Look at my books. Mr. Winter signed them. Jimmy Winter turned. Oh, Beth said, I didn't know you were there. I didn't know you were here. I chose 3 of your books, Cam told Mr. Winter. I'll go in right now and pay for them. Then will you sign them for me? Of course I will. Cam and her mother returned to the gym. Mrs. Jansen paid for the books. Then Cam brought them to Mr. Winter. Did anything happen? Cam asked Eric. No, just that the window fogged up again and I wiped it. Jimmy Winter looked at Cam and smiled. Then he signed the books. For Cam, a smart detective. From Detective Jim E. Winter. Thank you, Cam said. Cam looked outside. A car entered the school parking lot. Look, Cam whispered. If the thief is here, he'll be watching too. Maybe he'll try to steal this car. Cam and the others watched the driver and his daughter get out of the car. The driver put the keys in his raincoat pocket. He opened an umbrella. Then he walked with his daughter into the school. No one followed him. "Welcome to the book fair," Dr. Prell told the man and his daughter. "Please hang your coats in room 17, and please don't leave your keys in your coat pocket. The books are in the gym." Everyone was quiet after that. They waited and watched. Cam opened her copy of My Name is Blake and the Scary Movie Mystery. Cam turned to the 3rd chapter. In it, Barry Blake is in the theater. He's looking for the woman's purse. "You won't find it," Cam thought. "That woman forgot where she was sitting. She's taking you to the wrong seat." Cam kept reading. In the 4th chapter, Barry Blake asks the woman if she is sure she brought her purse to the theater. "Of course I did," she says. "I had to buy a ticket, didn't I?" "Well, I paid for it with some of the money I keep in my purse." A mother and her 2 sons walked past Cam and the others. They left the school. Cam watched them go to the parking lot. The woman found her car and drove off. Cam read some more. In chapter 6, Barry Blake finds the woman's purse. No one had taken it. The woman had just forgotten where she had been sitting. "I knew it," Cam thought. Cam closed the book. Just then, 3 police cars drove up. Officer Oppen got out of the first car and entered the school. "We drove up and down every block near the school," he said. "We looked in every driveway. Then we saw a garage with the lights on. We looked in the window, and there they were, the 2 stolen cars." "I bet that garage has an automatic electric eye," Jimmy Winter said. "When you go in or out, the light goes on." "Yes," Officer Oppen said. "We found a man in the garage and arrested him. He's outside." Then he said to Cam, "We need you to tell us if he's the man you saw in the parking lot." "I don't want my daughter to meet any thief," Mrs. Jansen told the officer. "He might be dangerous." "He's handcuffed," Officer Oppen said. "We'll take him out of the car. We'll shine a big light on him. You'll be able to see him. But don't worry, the light will be shining in his eyes. He won't be able to see you." "Well," Mrs. Jansen said, "that sounds safe." Cam joined Officers Oppen and Gray by the door to the school. Officer Oppen held a large light. He pointed it at a short, fat man in a light brown raincoat. 2 police officers were standing beside him. Cam closed her eyes. She said, "Click." She looked at the picture she had in her head of the man in the parking lot. "Yes," Cam said and opened her eyes. "That's him." "Thank you," Officer Oppen said. So there's the crook. He waved to the other officers to let them know that Cam identified the thief. "I'm sorry," the short man in the light brown coat called out as he got into the back of the first police car. The police car drove off. Cam and the 2 officers went back into the school. "These are yours," Officer Gray said. She gave a car key to Mr. Shelton and another to Mr. Pace. "We'll take you to your cars." "This is a story with a happy ending," Jimmy Winter said. "It's happy for everyone but the thief. People will get their cars back, and I've got a great idea for a new book." "You're going to put this in a book?" Eric asked. "Yes, and in the front of the book I'll thank Cam Jansen for helping me solve the mystery." "He didn't solve the mystery," Eric whispered to Cam. "You solved it all by yourself." "I don't care about that," Cam Jansen said. "What I care about is that my name will be in a book. Isn't that great? My name will be in a book." All right, the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed the book. Hopefully you guys were able to kind of get an idea of how a mystery story like this can be pretty simple. I mean, you don't need to have like all this stuff in it. Doesn't need to be super long. This book was only 8 chapters, but there was able to still be a good beginning, middle, and end of the story. If you guys remember, that's usually what our focus is for our writings, is to make sure that we have a good beginning, introducing stuff, a good middle with some things happening, and then a conclusion, an end. All right, so a little bit later, we'll be talking about those last parts of how to write a good mystery novel. I'll kind of go through those pretty quick, talk about expectations, where to find that story, and then we'll go from there. So, all right, I'll see you guys at 1. Make sure to come with your questions to our Google Meet. We'll help you in any way that we can. All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye.